NEC 700.9b states that the wiring from the emergency source or emergency source distribution of a current protection to emergency loads must be kept entirely independent of all other wiring and equipment. This implies that emergency lighting fixtures cannot share a circuit with normal lighting fixtures. NEC 700.12e states that the branch circuit feeding the unit equipment shall be the same branch circuit as the serving the normal lighting in the area and connect to the head of any local switches. This means the emergency lighting fixtures must be fed from the same branch circuit as the normal lighting fixtures, but ahead of any local switches. These two sections of the NEC appear to be in conflict. However, NEC 700.9b takes precedence over NEC 700.12e because it is more specific. Therefore, emergency lighting fixtures must be wired on a separate circuit from the normal lighting fixtures. It is against code to use a single circuit with padlock provisions utilized as a night light circuit to power the emergency light fixtures. The emergency lighting fixtures must be wired on a separate circuit from the normal lighting fixtures. This is to ensure that in the event of a power outage, the emergency lighting will function independently and reliably, providing illumination for safe egress. The code prioritizes the separation of emergency power systems to guarantee their availability when needed most. In practical terms, this means that the wiring for your emergency lights, including exit signs and emergency egress lighting in your office space, should originate from a dedicated circuit breaker in your electrical panel. This circuit breaker should only serve the emergency lighting system. This separation extends beyond just the circuit breaker. The conductors, or wires, running to the emergency lights should also be physically separated from the conductors serving the normal lighting. This can be achieved by running the emergency lighting wires in a separate conduit or cable assembly. This physical separation helps to prevent any potential interference or fault that could compromise the emergency lighting system. The requirement to connect emergency lighting ahead of any local switches, as mentioned in NEC 700.12e, is intended to ensure that the emergency lights remain illuminated regardless of the position of any switches controlling the normal lighting in the area. For example, even if someone turns off the lights in an office, the emergency lights will continue to operate if there is a power failure. The exception mentioned for 3 or more lighting circuits in an uninterrupted area allows for some flexibility in the wiring of emergency lighting in larger spaces. However, it's crucial to carefully review the specific requirements of this exception and ensure that the overall intent of providing reliable emergency lighting is still met. When designing and installing emergency lighting systems, it is always advisable to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or licensed electrician who is familiar with the NEC and local codes. They can help ensure that the system is properly designed, installed, and maintained to meet all applicable requirements. This helps in avoiding potential code violations and ensuring the safety of building occupants during an emergency. Regular testing and maintenance of emergency lighting systems are also essential to ensure their proper operation. This includes testing the battery backup systems to verify that they can provide sufficient power to operate the emergency lights for the required duration. The NEC provides specific guidelines for the testing and maintenance of emergency lighting systems, which should be followed carefully. In summary, the NEC requires that emergency lighting circuits be kept entirely independent of all other wiring and equipment, meaning they must be on a separate circuit from normal lighting. This requirement is intended to ensure the reliable operation of emergency lighting in the event of a power outage. When designing and installing emergency lighting systems, it's crucial to consult with qualified professionals and follow all applicable codes and standards.